Hi, I'm Jason, and I'm going to WonderCon. Yeah, that's right, brother.
You have your ticket?
Not yet.
Spoiler, I already have my tickets and my hotel.
Well, I got. Well, I'm in your guys' motel, so I just.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It said one bed or two beds. It depends on whatever they decide to give us when we get there. You might have to buy your own room. Just so you know.
Okay. Well, we'll figure out what's going on. All right. So we're doing our favorite comics. Oh, do you have a spoiler? Oh yeah, you did do a spoiler.
Spoiler, I already have my ticket.
So we're going to do our number or our weekly comic thing. Fuck, my brain went.
Hey, we're doing a video.
Yeah,
over
we're
here.
doing a video, ladies. Hey, come on over here, ladies. Come on. Hi. You should come over here and say hi. No, okay. The other city girl won't come over here. All right, so yeah, so weekly picks. All right, I'm going to. It's almost like a rant, but it's not. I just got done reading Crossed Psychopath. It's the newest Cross series part. It's issue one. They're trying to go overboard with like the gore and the insanity, and it like the first 10 pages is them trying to step the line with the dirtiness, the blood, the incestual grossness of it, and it's kind of losing its appeal. Like
Cross never had any appeal.
no, like the first one was awesome. The second one was but the third one is like they're trying to capitalize mostly on the gross appeal to it, and it's getting tiresome. If they go back to the story, it's great because it's a good idea, good story. You know, crazy people got this plague; they just really don't give a fuck. It's a good read. I'm hoping because it got better after the first 10 pages. I'm hoping it's going to continue being a good story. But you don't have to do all the crazy gore, the sexual stuff, the penises being torn off. I understand why they do it, but they really don't have to go overboard with it to get the sales. Go for the story instead of the gore. So
Right.
that's one of them. I'll go with my other one after Marky goes for one of his picks.
I'm picking.
He's picking. That's such an awesome cover. So while he's picking, the wraparound cover for Cross, where the little kids are going down the slide into the wood chipper, is an awesome cover. And like their bloods and guts are going on to some guy that's walking by, and the kids are all like, "Wee, we're going down the slide into wood chopper." It looks awesome. The other one with the guy with the horns kind of, and the other one with holding the body. But the wraparound, awesome cover. Love it. Marky. Speaker
Orson
of the
Scott
Dead.
Card's Ender Speaker for the Dead. I mean, it's Orson fucking Scott Card, one of the most award-winning authors in the. It's still alive, actually. Wrote Ender's Game, probably the biggest book he's ever wrote. Went off into a giant series with it. Actually, the series is pretty good. It's at issue 2. Follows up the last series he just did. It's actually the second best of the 2 that are running, I think. Unfortunately, the other one I believe came out last week, which is Formic Wars. I actually think that one was slightly better, which is a prequel to the book Ender's Game. These are basically just following the books, but they're done very well. I'm not going to ruin it for you. Basically, I think they're awesome. You should read them. If you don't, you must not like sci-fi. If you like sci-fi, you should be reading these.
But it's Marvel. What if you despise Marvel?
You don't have many options for sci-fi with the DC universe.
Is it part of the DC universe at all, or is it totally different? Like you're not going to see like Wolverine in there, or like sci-fi.
It's totally different from Marvel altogether. If that's what you meant, you
Yeah.
said DC.
Oh, yeah.
It's existing basically in the Ender's Game universe.
Oh, okay. So you won't be seeing the Marvel characters.
No, there's
Oh,
no
okay.
Marvel characters in this. It's very similar to, let's say, any kind of book series they've ever done, like Anita Blake.
Oh, okay.
The with the gunfighter.
Oh, I saw a shitload of
The
that.
Stephen King one.
Oh, The Stand or
The Dark Tower one.
The Dark Tower series. I always want to call it by whatever they call him, but I know that's not the name. The Dark Tower series. They exist within just the book, really, and it's formed into a comic book. It's they do a good job at turning books into comic books. Actually, from what I've seen, they actually do it better than DC does.
How about Dynamite though? They do a lot of them. Like they do Gene Kuntz, a lot of Gene Kuntz.
I haven't read any of those because I don't like him.
I like them better than King.
The one I did read, I can't remember what the author was. I didn't think that it translated into comic book form well. Could have just been the book, but that's the only one I've tried through them. So far, Marvel for me translates the books the best.
I could almost grab the girl from the other town over here to show her in the video, but she's the mystery.
Basically, I'm gonna say if you like science fiction, you should be reading Orson Scott Card, and if you like comic books and science fiction, you should be reading Orson Scott Card's comic books.
Alright.
That's all I got on that.
What would you rate it?
I do think it's a little bit weaker than like I was saying, the Formic War seems a little more fast action pace. This one, the story is a little bit deeper. I'm going to give this one, let's say, an 8.5. I would give the Formic Wars, which I want to review also, basically is what I'm trying to do here. I'm going to give that one a 9. And the last series, which featured, I forget what it's called, but it basically takes place directly after Ender's Game. I would give that one a 9.5. That one was very good, and the art was very pretty also. I think it's the same artist for all of them. If not, they all draw the same.
Yeah, for the Cross Psychopath issue number 1, I'd give it maybe a 5. I know it was my pick for this week, but that's because I've been trying to catch up on Fables. Now, that comic book is fucking awesome. It's through Vertigo. It's on issue 102 right now. I'm only on issue 60, unfortunately. Where you girls are go jogging naked. Go jogging naked.
It's cold out there. Yay, hard nipples.
So, Fables is basically a story about all your favorite fairy tale people. They get exiled off of their home world because of the adversary, which is, I'm not going to tell you who it is.
Because I don't know who it is yet.
Yeah. He basically takes over all these different lands and forces the Fable characters, which is like Snow White, Pinocchio, Big Bad Wolf, and all those people, into New York, present day New York. But this takes place in like the 1920s when they first got exiled, but now it's into modern times. Now, I'm not that much of a softie. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. But the joy that I get from this comic book is like it makes our fairy tales live on. Like to see Snow White, like
So you've never read Zenoscope before?
No, never read any of the Zenoscope.
Because that's all they do.
Yeah,
but I like it's a different way to
yeah,
do this.
it's different because it's more like it continues the story and. I don't know. It kind of like I want my daughter to read them, but like they show like a lot of sex and tits, and I don't care about the bad language. I just don't want her to see all the sex and have to explain to her about what the sex is.
I find I don't have any children, but I find that funny that parents have a harder time with sex than killing. Sex is fairly natural. Killing's kind of disturbing.
Yeah, and like I don't mind the violence or the cursing.
I think here in America we're just ass backwards because every other country in the world has a harder time putting killing on TV than sex.
Yeah, that's kind of true. So, but it kind of makes you feel like, oh, Snow White. This is what happens to. Oh, this is what happens to Cinderella. This is what happens to. And like, there's some badass like the witch from Hansel and Gretel. I love that woman. Like I'm only on episode 60 or issue 60. Yeah, I'm just now on 60, so I still have a lot more to go. But I'm really loving it. I love who the adversary is, and I'm not going to say who it is.
That's right.
I like Cinderella and like her role, and the big bad wolf. He's they kind of made him like Wolverine, where he has the healing ability. He could be. He almost looks like Wolverine, actually.
He's a werewolf.
Yeah, and like in the Fables, like the fairy tales prior, you didn't think it was a
Because he wasn't a werewolf.
right. It adds to it, like, oh yay, and I don't know, it just kind of touches the heartstrings. I can see why it got so many awards. I have heard from like people on other sites that it starts losing its appeal after like episode issue 80. I'm not that far yet, so hopefully it still continues on with the great feel that it has. It spawned Jack of Fables, which is Jack and the Beanstalk's guy, and like he's in Hollywood and then goes to Las Vegas and seems like a creep in Fables, but he kind of got my respect once he made the movies. If you watch, spoiler alert, he makes movies to make himself more credible and all that stuff, to make him more popular. Jack and the Beanstalk guy more popular, so he'll live longer and be more powerful. Great comic. Recommend it to anyone that likes comics, anyone that likes the old school fairy tales. I will give it a strong, strong 9. What is another pick of yours if you got it?
Alright, here we go. Do a bullet review.
Ooh, Bullet! Yay!
At just Society 48.
Haven't read it
The
yet.
current story is pretty awesome. I think we've reviewed 45, 46, 47. So I'm not really going to review this one too much. I'm just going to say basically the story is as good as it has been.
No, is the main bad guy still in it? That
Scythe?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
still in it.
Cool.
And Dr. Chaos?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're both still going strong in it. The story is getting very crazy, but it still makes sense, which is good. I would give this particular issue an 8.5. I think you and me both gave the last issues the previous 2 9s. It's just getting a little harder to follow, but if it makes sense in the end, it'll go back up to its 9s, 9.5s, maybe a 10 if we get a perfect issue. Power Girl. Power Girl is getting very tied into the main universe, which actually for me is a little bit of a downer. I kind of liked her off on her own. They're still writing it well though.
Yeah, I've actually started reading Power Girl. I've enjoyed it.
Spoiler alert, this particular issue has Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson in it, which is kind of confusing to look at because they're both dressed as Batman.
There was Dick in Power Girl?
Yeah, there was Dick in Power Girl and Bruce in Power Girl.
Did she like the Dick in it?
It seemed to.
Cool.
For me, the story's slowed a little bit, and I don't like the fact that it's tying into other comics, and it seems to make me want to read the other comics. It's not forcing me to yet, but it feels like I'm missing little bits here and there. If it forces me to, this book's probably just going to go way off my pole. It's a book I read a lot because I like just reading Power Girl. I don't want to have to read 40 other books to read Power Girl.
But the price has dropped to $2.99.
It doesn't matter if they make me read everything to read anything.
Yeah, I download Power Girl.
So I enjoyed it. I'm going to give this one an 8. Usually I end up giving Power Girl an 8.5. They're usually solid, not great. So it's fallen a little bit with me. I do like the current art, though. The current art is just tops. I'm reading Death of Spider-Man, which is an Ultimate comic. It's fucking good. Spider-Man issue 154 gives you a background of what's happened in the previous issues, which is cool. So you can just start right here. What can I say? It's pretty well written. I still hate the art. I actually know nobody that likes the art in Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't know who the artist is. I'm not meaning to offend you.